it for you is the initial process?
The it for me really is the coming up with an idea for an interesting book that's got something for the market that perhaps no one else has done. I've got a book in my head. I've got the whole book in my head, and it's just a matter of the process of getting it down onto a piece of paper. So for me, until that idea hits me in the head, I can't possibly write something. And then when I do think of it, it's kind of like I stew on it for months, like 6 months, and I'm constantly thinking. I don't write a single thing down, and then I finally have essentially an entire book in my head, and it's a matter of getting the time required to just write it all down and get it all down there.
You could write one over again, change the byline, the storyline, the concept from your experiences now over 5 books.
That's interesting.
What would you do?
All right, so this is my first book. My most rare book, Eyeball Wars. It's a novel. It's a novel of .com intrigue. It's the first novel that was done about an internet startup company. It's a thriller, and when I did it, I actually wrote it as if it was in the present tense, and that was a terrible mistake, because if you read it now, it reads like a period piece, and if I had written it using the dates, I wrote it in 1998, right, and it came out in 2000. Actually 2001, and I started writing it in 1998. If I had written it with 1998, 1999 as the dates, so that was a big mistake. And I haven't written a novel since, so.
Sometimes you need a break.
It actually was that was the first book I wrote. It was a good book to write first, because if you can't write a novel, there's no way that you can write nonfiction, because nonfiction is about telling stories too. But most nonfiction books aren't any good and don't do very well because the people who write them aren't storytellers. And so by writing a novel first, it was great for me because I was able to understand how to put a story together, get people's interest, write with conflict. Write with conflict, which is something people, what was this guy talking about? The idea that a great novel, a great movie is all about conflict, right? Boy meets girl, they get married, is really boring. Boy meets girl, they fall in love, the girl breaks up with the guy, he tries to get her back because he's still in love with her, you know, she meets somebody else, and then at the end of the book or the end of the movie, they finally realize that they were meant for each other, they come together and they get married. Is an interesting story that's been told thousands and thousands of times. Most business books are boy meets girl, boy gets married, which is like, you know, people don't put this idea of conflict into it.
You just talked about conflict and building the storyline.
Yeah.
Is there one piece of advice you would give a company regarding the new rules of marketing and PR that would help them overcome their own internal conflict?
Well, I don't know if it helps them to overcome their conflict, but it'll certainly help them to create great content, and that is to hire a journalist as part of their team. And, you know, people, when they want to do marketing, they hire marketing people. What is a marketing person? Well, that's someone who knows the 4 Ps, whatever they are. I think the first one might be PowerPoint, but I'm not sure.
Plastic, I think.
Plastic and PowerPoint and whatever, peroxide and Prada, I don't know. But they've got these 4 Ps, and they go out and they do this traditional stuff. And the idea of a journalist is somebody who knows how to tell a story, knows how to either write a great piece of content or broadcast. In the case of a television journalist, either radio or television, a great piece of content. So getting those people on your team is a really terrific way to create the sort of content that has the potential to market your organization as a great company, and also even has the potential to generate something that will spread like crazy and become a worldwide rave.
David, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Sure.